So, you're playing Genshin Impact, doing your dailies, killing a bunch of hilichurls, and crying in despair at the bad RNG when this trailer visits your recommended.
Just take all my money!
Fortunately, she won't come until September, so you pull out your wallet, get the Welkins, save up a bunch of primos from the dailies, but then this, and that is appearing in the banners before her, and your faith in the sword booba waifu is wavering as you move your mouse to the wish button, hoping to get a piece of that roly-poly loli. And then you get Xinyan.
Xinyan's the name and rock and roll's the game.
50 more pulls later, still no Sayu, you're getting close to pity, and you're wondering, is Baal actually worth waiting for? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the position that most Genshin Impact players find themselves in. There's too many good characters to pull for, but not enough primogems to do it, so you pick one or two, save up, and hopefully you don't lose to 50-50 and get another gene or 5 more Chi-Chis. So, for those of you who are on the fence about whether they should pull for the Electro Archon or not, this video is for you. Let's get started. In Genshin Impact, when you're speaking about the overall value that a character brings to the table, you can't just look at the number of stars and the damage output that a character has to determine whether they're going to be worth it or not. First of all, Genshin has gathered such a wide variety of players that are going to be looking for different things in every new character that gets added. Some people are playing purely for the casual experience of exploring Teyvat, collecting their waifus or husbandos if you swing that way, and is generally here just for the fun of it. For categorical purposes, we'll call this group the waifu over meta, regardless of whether you're here for the wife or the husbando. The second group are the meta slaves. These are the people who enjoy optimizing the shit out of their lineups and jizzes whenever they see the big numbers come in. These players typically don't care about the story of the game, so the fact that Baal is the Electro Archon in the lore, nor the fact that she is quote-unquote hot as fuck, probably doesn't hold much sway over their decision to pull or not. Now that we've established the types of players that are going to be shooting for Baal, here are the categories that we're going to be using in order to determine whether she's worth it or not. Number 1, playstyle and damage potential. Number 2, synergy with other characters. Number 3, aesthetics and lore. First category, playstyle and damage potential. Just to get it out of the way, we still don't know what types of numbers she'll be getting on her release, because even though players are already playing around with her stats in the beta, it's still continuously being changed and will most likely be continuously tweaked until after her release. This happened with Zhongli back in his banner. People were disappointed that he was underwhelming during release, but nowadays he's one of the best characters in the game. Going back to Baal, it doesn't really matter what her numbers are right now. The fact that she's an Archon tells us that miHoYo is not going to make her shit, because they are literally the reason miHoYo makes money. Not to mention that her skills are made to do damage. So at worst, she's going to be an Electro sub DPS that applies Electro reactions for your main damage dealer, kinda like a Beidou ult but on her E. It's a great source of constant Electro reaction trigger, and since her recharge rate scales with her level, that means that after your other DPS unloads, you can swap back to Baal, pop the ult, and go ham with her katana. Best case scenario would probably be that her damage numbers are insane. You scale it through the resolve stacks, which increases the more ults you pop, indicated by the circle thingy behind her back, and the more resolve stacks you have, the stronger your ult becomes. And if her damage numbers end up being really good, you'll probably be popping this at least twice an encounter because of her recharge rate, and there you go. You have your Electro DPS. Lastly, since we're talking about playstyle, she uses a polearm. The polearm weapon set has a wide variety of choices already for both DPS and sub-DPS characters, but if you don't have any set up, you don't have to worry because an upcoming weapon that will be giving extra recharge rate is on the way via an event, so keep your eye out for that. In terms of this category, speculations before release, I'd honestly give her a 9 out of 10 in terms of her potential. Metaslaves should be happy unless miHoYo decides they want a repeat of the Zhongli incident, which doesn't really make any sense. Next category, synergy. This is somewhat related to the previous category because elemental synergy is a lot more important than base numbers in this game, so depending on who the team around a specific character is, can drastically change how strong they can become. Unfortunately, this is where the main concern for Baal is, because she is an Electro character. Electro is the worst element for your DPS because it simply doesn't get to the damages that Melt and Vaporize provides. Therefore, the top tier DPS characters will almost always be other elements, unless Electro itself receives a buff, but that's not guaranteed, so I wouldn't bet on it. Does that mean Baal will not be worth it damage-wise? No, not at all. Electro damage dealers like a Ching can still be built to have massive damage numbers. It's just that characters like Hu Tao and Ganyu have higher damage potentials right off the bat. Exceptions are always going to be there, of course. Just look at how Eula performs with a physical build, and yes, I too am sad that I don't have her. However, if you don't really care about optimization and just want to get through the abyss floors, Electro serves you just as well as any other elements as long as you build them right. As proof, there's tons of videos of other players making shit characters into top tier DPS, so that's not going to be an issue for the majority of players. Overall, in terms of synergy, she's alright. If you want to make her a sub DPS for somebody like Eula, you'll have a consistent amount of superconduct reactions lowering the enemy's defenses. Or you can pair her up with Hu Tao, pop Baal's E, switch to Hu Tao, E again, and go balls to the walls with the overload reactions. 7.5 out of 10 for now. Last and most important category of all is the aesthetics and lore category, otherwise known as waifu potential. I have a confession to make. Actually, don't give a shit about the abyss floors or getting high damage numbers. I'm just here to quest, build my teapot, and add waifus to my harem. Thus, speaking of waifu potential, this is a pretty easy sell. Swords, cool. Boobas, hot. Sword boobas.
I'm not horny.
If you guys didn't know, before her trailer dropped, people were actually complaining about how she looked because an early render of her character model was leaked. But after seeing her move in-game, watching her animations, getting to know her in the story as a literal lightning goddess, this character style is just off the charts. She feels fast, has cool effects, great character design, impactful introduction, and we've got a bunch more stories related to her coming up with the updates, so she's not gonna be irrelevant anytime soon. I honestly believe that if anybody has a chance of surpassing Zhongli as the most simp character in the game, I'm putting my money on Baal. Thank you, MiHoYo, for giving us yet another badass Archon. 10 out of 10. So yeah, hopefully that helped you come to a decision about whether you should wait or wail for Baal when she releases. I'm definitely saving up for her, and I'm going to get her no matter what, so if you'd like to chill with me while I gather my primos for the Electro Queen, come hang out with me on Twitch. Aside from Genshin, I'll be playing a bunch of anime games as well, so yeah. Hit the subscribe button if you're interested in anything anime, gaming, VTuber related, and that's it for this week. See you in the next upload. Bye bye.